Okay, I will try to explain to you how time travel in the Avengers universe works. One more time. It's like when you throw a stone in a pond and it creates ripples. Of course, this time we're talking about an infinity stone. See what I did there? Anyway, so you create various ripples. But then if you throw another stone in, and that's how time travel works in the Avengers Marvel universe. Lainey, do you see what I mean? Do you understand?
Sure, Dad.
Well, I'm not your actual dad because this is an alternate reality. So you obviously weren't listening and I have to tell you all over again. So, it's like when you throw a stone in a pond.
Welcome back to Lunch Bites with Lainey.
Today we're going to review, it's a retro review, and we're going to review one of my all-time favorite TV shows from when I was a kid, and I still love it, and it is
Buck Rogers.
In the 25th Century. And I've showed this to you, and spoiler, you like it.
I love it.
Yes. Really quickly, you liked it so much that this is actually Lainey's birthday weekend. Her birthday is tomorrow as we're filming this. And you asked for a special birthday this year. What did you want?
A Buck Rogers themed birthday party.
Exactly. And I was able to contact Gil Gerard, who played Buck Rogers back in the 1979 series, and he sent a wonderful video message to Lainey for her birthday. And if you haven't seen it already on our channel, we'll tack it onto the end of this video too, so that you can see it. Okay, let's get right into it. I'm just going to start out by saying this. This is one of my all-time favorites. It started as a movie, and I distinctly remember this movie because in the little town where I lived, we had a single-screen movie theater, and Grandma and Grandpa gave me money on a Friday night, so it only played Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday matinee. And on Friday night, I got to walk uptown to see this movie, and I fell in love with it. I loved it. So the next day, I begged Grandma and Grandpa for the money to go back. I think it cost like $2 to go to the movies back then, and they grudgingly, Papa gave me the money, and I walked up and saw it again, and then I went home and broke my piggy bank and went back on the Sunday matinee. I loved this, and then it came out in a series the next season. It was a TV series, and I had to miss one episode, and I remember this because I was in a band concert and Grandma made me go and I didn't want to go. So I got out my audio tape recorder, this is very sad, and I turned the channel on the TV and I hit record and I recorded the audio, so when I got home from the concert I could listen to it. So I absolutely love this series. What about you?
I love it, same as you. I think Buck Rogers could have he's wonderful. He's funny. That's one of the reasons why I like this. He's so funny.
There's a lot of humor in this. And the guy who plays him, Gil Gerard, has great comedic timing. He knows how to play that. He's very tongue-in-cheek, and he gets
He's like the person to do Buck Rogers, and that's it.
Right. I actually can't see anybody else in the role, so I agree.
He could be a solo doing his own thing, and he would still be great.
Right.
Playing Buck.
And is there a reason you like it, other than the humor, is there a reason you like him so much in the part? Or you like the character of Buck so much, either way?
Because he gets along well with other people. So even if he knows what to do. He knows what to do in different situations.
Right.
And I kind of like that because he's smart. He plays the part well.
Right. Well, he's got this 20th century know-how, and he's in the 25th century. If you haven't seen it, the premise is he's an astronaut. He blasts off in 1987. He's frozen in the cockpit of his space shuttle, and they wake him up in 500 years later. And so he's from the 20th century, and he's trying to get along in the 25th century. And people have lost the ability to know how to do certain things for themselves, and he has that kind of know-how, and that's what you're referring to. And you're right, he gets along with everybody regardless of how he's drawn into these situations, whether people kind of try to trick him or manipulate him. he's such a nice guy that he sees the problem and he helps out anyway. So he's kind of a true hero, like MacGyver, who you like, right?
Even if he's on a vacation, it's like somehow he gets pulled into a problem, but he solves it.
Right, because he's a good person. He's a nice guy and he helps people out. And he's so different from the anti-hero that we see so often today, right? The cast of characters around him is very good as well, I think. Who do you like there?
Wilma and Tweaky.
Wilma and Tweaky. And what about Dr. Hewer in the first season?
Yes,
I like Dr. Hewer a lot too. He kind of grounds it, and he's got a good sense of humor too. He sets up a lot. He's like the straight man. He sets up a lot of the jokes for Buck with the 20th century versus the 25th century. You know?
I like the one episode where his plant dies and he can't fix it, and he gets a plant and he thinks it's the same plant, and then Buck Rogers comes and he's like, "You got a different plant," and Dr. Hewer is like, "Oh."
Yeah, he figured it out, right? Dr. Hewer tried to trick him by saying, "Oh, I took care of it fine," and you just got a plant to replace it. It's a whole different plant. So no, it's a good humorous turn. Wilma is a great character, as you said. She holds her own. I think she's an equal to Buck. You know, she's always there. She's in the thick of things, just like Buck is all the time.
She's a colonel,
right?
And
so she's actually
Buck Rogers
He's a captain.
Right.
Yeah, so she actually outranks him. And Tweaky's a really fun character.
Yes.
Right? So,
I call him Beady because he says beady beady.
Right, exactly. And that's what Colton calls him too.
Yes.
Something else I liked about it is how they travel through this universe and we see all these really cool planets. I know that had been done in other sci-fi series before, but this was a different take on it. It was more lighthearted, and we got to see like a pleasure planet, which was like Vegas. There was a cruise ship one. There were all different things. There was even an episode with Jerry Orbach where it was a space station with a rock glue. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. The list of guest stars, I could go on and on. I won't. But like Roddy McDowall, Peter Graves, Marky Post, Jamie Lee Curtis, Gary Coleman, and I thought his episode was fine. It gets a lot of criticism. The episode with the child actor where he's playing the president of a planet.
I liked that one.
That episode. It was a good episode. And the guy from My Favorite Martian was in that one as well. The list goes on and on. Jack Palance. You could go on forever. It was like there were all these really well-known stars who were in this.
He likes this so much that he knows all of the guest stars.
Yes, and I could go on, but I won't. And the stories, I mean, certainly the scripts were, and I think I've heard the actors refer to this, the scripts weren't the best written scripts, but they did, I mean, they made it better by the way they handled it. They handled it tongue-in-cheek. They sought the laugh when they could get it.
Right.
But, you know.
And Gil Gerard in that part, it made it much better.
Right. I mean, he was able to carry off things that maybe was weak in the script, but it sold on the screen because you liked it. And you liked the characters. I think that's where the key was. And now the second season, of course, we watched the first season, went to the second season. Totally different premise. Very different show. A lot of people don't like it. I actually like it. I think there's a lot of decent episodes in it.
I take it as a different story. The first few episodes...
Right. It's like when you read a book series and you have this main character. You know, I like these books written by Robert Parker. There's novels with Spencer in it. You know, Spencer goes on different adventures. You finish this book, you read this book, he's in a different place doing something different, you know?
Right.
But the character is the same. And so Buck was the same. Wilma was a little different. There were some issues with Tweaky, which they eventually figured out by the end of the season. I think the actors fought to get Mel Blanc back in to voice the character, because that's what really sells that character, right?
And he didn't say Beady.
Right, yes. But I mean, essentially you've got the core group of characters there. We add Hawk, who's a good character. I think he's a good character. And if you care about the characters and they play the parts well, we can get through the weaker scripts and be okay with it. Also, Buck Rogers, I'll ask you this. I think part of the appeal of this is we have a single hero whose story we're following, right? Now, I'm not saying that Wilma is not as strong a character. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're following the story of Buck.
Right.
Whereas, like, I love Star Wars, and I do, but I was always more into Han Solo than I was Luke Skywalker. So in some of the films, when we're focused on Luke, I feel like I'm being pulled away from Han's story, and I want to see that, right? So here we're following Buck and the people who are, you know, with Buck, which is Wilma and Tweaky and what have you. So I think that's an important aspect of it. And I will say, you know, I saw this in the theater more than I got to see Star Wars when I was a kid. Subsequently, I've seen Star Wars many more times now than I originally did, but I got to see Star Wars once in the theaters. I saw Buck Rogers 3 times, and I made sure I did 3 days. So I obviously love this. It's one of my all-time favorites.
I like it too. I love it.
And you and Colton have both had to me, a very surprising response to it in some ways. I didn't know if you would like it as much as you did, but you both seem to really love it.
Goes MacGyver and then right to Buck Rogers.
Right. And they're very similar in some ways. They're honest characters. I mean, you can feel the honesty, the way they're played. You know, Richard Dean Anderson and Gil Gerard, they both bring an honesty to the characters they play, and they embody that as MacGyver and as Buck Rogers. They're true heroes versus the anti-hero that we talked about earlier. And it's kind of an adventure of the week kind of premise, so I think it works in that way. You know, I certainly think for a show made 40 years ago with they were having to do special effects every week, right? You know, Star Wars got 3 years to do their special effects. These guys had to do it every week, right? I mean, I think it's pretty. I enjoyed it. You know, it's adventure, it's imaginative.
Enjoy it for what it is.
Exactly. Stop criticizing for what it's not, right? So, and if you take it that way, I think it's a lot of fun. Yummy or crummy for you?
A total yummy.
Yep, definitely yummy for me. Have tons of posters of it. You can see them here. So I guess I would just say check it out if you haven't already, but you probably have if you're watching this. All right, we're going to throw that video, the message from Gil Gerard to Lainey for her birthday, we'll throw that on next, and we hope you enjoy that. And I guess we'll see you next time.
Make sure you subscribe.
Somebody special wanted to say happy birthday. You can open your eyes.
Hi, Lainey. This is Gil Gerard. I'm wishing you a very happy 10th birthday on May the 20th. I know it's not May the 20th, we're a little early, but I do want to wish you a happy birthday. Our sons, who are twins, their birthday is May the 20th. So I'll always remember this birthday for you, May the 20th. That's Lainey. Also, you do something called Lunch Bites with Lainey on YouTube. I'm going to check that out. You review shows that you and your dad watch. I think that's terrific. I love the fact that fathers and daughters are watching Buck Rogers or whatever you do together, those shows. I've heard many women have come to me and said that was the time they spent with their fathers back when the show was on the air, and that it was a great time for both of them. One of the few times they were able to spend time together. So it makes me feel really good that you and your dad are into that together. So again, happy birthday. And good luck with all your incredible endeavors. I see you're a very bright lady, and it's nice to see that. So happy birthday again. Happy 10th.